Gosh, I wish I was coming to you from another garage, but alas, same chair, same garage. I'll tell you what's going on. Never in a million years did I imagine that we would be in the holiday season and we would still be in the same house that you've seen me in over the last couple of years. But nonetheless, if you know anything about the housing and building market right now in 2021, you would understand at least a little bit. So how does that relate to the lawn? Well, the lawn is not going to be going in at the time that I thought it would have been, which was this past summer. So what am I going to do with the Bermuda grass lawn that's going in late fall or possibly even early winter? Because our new close date's sometime around Christmas. Yes. I know that is not desirable at all, but we will have to deal with it and do the best we can. So most likely that Bermuda grass will be being laid, the sod will be dormant. So is there anything special that I need to do when that sod goes in if it is dormant? Can you even lay Bermuda sod when it's dormant? Because we know that Bermuda sod is a warm season grass, and the best time really to lay that would be in the spring or summer. But it's going to be laid when it's going to be laid. So what should I do differently? Really, I'm not going to do things much different at all. So there's really three ways I'm going to tackle this. Number one, I'm going to make sure it stays moist. And typically around this time of year, if they lay it, we get rain every once in a while, so I shouldn't have to throw sprinklers out. Now, I won't have to water like I would if it were going in the spring or summer, because that's when things really dry out a lot faster. But as long as the sod stays wet to a certain extent, the soil helps it do whatever it can to make it through the winter, that will be fine. I'm not going to have to go on a stringent watering routine like I would during other times of year. Number two, new sod. I am definitely not going to throw down a pre-emergent on it. Now, a lot of you may think, why would you not? That'll keep the weeds from coming in. Well, it will also keep that new sod from rooting. Especially in the spring when it starts warming up a little bit, I don't want to have put down a pre-emergent and then all of a sudden that sod is having a hard time getting settled in. I'm just going to let it do its own thing and take care of weeds and everything else further on down the road. And that brings me to number three. I know this is kind of like things you would or wouldn't do, but number three, if I do have weeds come up in the spring, which there will be weeds in your new sod. So if you think you're going to get new sod and it's going to get laid and it's going to just take root and it's going to be perfect and you're going to mow it and it's going to be beautiful, wrong. It will likely come in with weeds in it. I will not use a weed killer, especially early in the spring or summer. I likely won't use a weed killer at all the first season that it's laid. I want it to really establish as naturally as possible. And then I'll take care of weeds in season number two. You know, I said three, but let's talk about number four. What I will do in the spring sometime as early as possible as it starts to green up is I'll hit it really hard with some organic fertilizer, either the ProCare Natural from Lowe's or Milorganite. Any of them will do just fine, but I will go heavy on that to make sure that I start feeding it a little bit with organics and start kind of changing that soil a little bit, since it's a new construction build and it's not going to be the best foundation to start from. And I know a lot of you will say, well, are you going to do anything else with bricks and rocks and construction debris? Look, I don't really worry about all that stuff. I just kind of let things play out as they will, and I will take care of things over time. I really enjoy the process of slow and steady wins the race. It's satisfying for me to watch the lawn kind of do its thing and me not having to really push it too hard, too fast, spending a lot of time and money. You know, I'm not in this to have perfection. I'm not in this to have results right away. It's all about the process for me. But if you're doing new construction, you're worried that you might be getting dormant sod laid, especially in the wintertime, that's okay. You can lay sod all year long, but that's kind of how I would tackle it if you're in the same situation that I am. Now, that situation is just rough with new construction. I mean, let me show you. Let me show you. We have been living out of boxes since July. We never imagined that when we packed these up, we would still be here this long. So that's been difficult. It's made it tough to get motivated in the lawn. It's made it tough to get excited about the holidays. But alas, we just keep trucking along. The hardest part for me is, because if you've been following the channel for any length of time, I don't have my holiday decor up this year. I'm huge into my Christmas lights, so that has been a real bummer to not be able to do that, but just would be really difficult for the time and effort put in, and then potentially to be tearing it all down not long after. So it's all right. It will all be worth it in the end. We are going to have a beautiful home when it is all said and done. So we just keep rolling with the punches. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Budget Lawns. I really appreciate you joining me. If you're not subscribed already, I would encourage you to do so, because once we do get in that new house, we are going to have a lot of new construction lawn content coming at you. So be sure to follow along. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below. All that stuff helps out the channel so much. But until next time, take care. Happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you soon.